Fari, what's going
How do
on? We're
you do?
talking all these mergers here in this food sector stuff. You play any of those food stocks?
No. I'm tired of sausage makers. We got the biggest one here called Seabot. Did you see that when they turn on the grills? You can tell on the OTF chart. Boom, goes flat. Get out while you're young.
You know, while you're young. What are you trading this
So,
for?
I haven't touched anything yet, but been quiet. The range overnight is only four handle. We're watching a couple of. We took some positions off this week, SBOX and SPY. We got a couple other positions on. One of them could be in trouble. We got to repair that First Solar that puts on it. The darn thing went up 1% yesterday. Tesla is looking good. Amazon coming back. Akamai came back. And then the darling yesterday was the Twitter.
Yeah.
8%, was it 9% something up? So our June spread is in trouble. That was from the EPS though. That's leftover from EPS. We knew that. But July's look good and September's look mighty fine.
So how are you playing it? Are you adding to a winner there? You're looking to take some profits?
No, we haven't added anything yet because we have. It's first of all two issues. Joel, good question. First of all, two issues. One, it's call spread, and it's long duration, so it's been a little bit less sensitive. But somewhere in here we start because I'd like to add to strength. I don't want to double down on weakness. If something is cheap, guess what? Everybody else is looking at it too. They're pricing it. It's probably going to get cheaper. So I want to see some strength. I'm a momentum buyer. So let's say Monday, Tuesday, let's let the month end finish. New month coming in, new cash. Let's see where we are Monday morning, first hour, second hour. Possibly we'll add some Twitter stuff. Yeah, I'll be looking at forward. I'll look at, may not touch July, but look at September or forward. You know what? When we were out of the earnings season, which is like second week of May, it finished. Of main names, we have some Bow Wow names going by, but the main stuff is finished. We switched to, and we hold through that to like, let's say, first week of July on the stock picking names. So the stuff that looks good, and volatility is low these days with VIX. So why not we'll buy some stuff cheap?
Okay, it's
now in some of the research that we're doing recently, it's not up yet. We'll probably be looking at today or tomorrow to try give a couple of tries. We're looking at some IBD names for growth stocks, optionable, but these are more of I'd say small caps, mid cap to small caps.
Does it worry you?
Those would be because now it's becoming a stock picking game. Market timing may be slowing down as we're hitting these numbers, and as you see the collapse in the ranges. So probably we want to be looking at the stocks that are decoupled from the market. There's growth; they will still move on, even though the market may be taking a pause.
Does it bother you that this Twitter rally, I mean, it's basically been the street upgrading, this, warming up to it? I mean, are you looking at
wasn't also some acquisition possibilities? I heard.
Well,
yeah,
that was Barron's threw out a little link out there that they, at these that there was a little bit of a floor in the stock because of the, the valuations from a merger perspective. But the street is, I mean, I'm going to have to look it up today to see how many consecutive upgrades you've had here. Are you looking at that, or are you just from a chart perspective here? You've had the move from $75.
Well, there are two things. Okay. One is the charts, of course. The other one is that because I do it mainly to use, we're a momentum trader, so we want some leverage. We look at options. I would look at how the vols are lining up versus historical. What's happening now? What was it like 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Because we keep track of that data. So we want to take a look at it and see how the vols are looking up. Obviously, some fear is getting sucked out. Remember, if you go back, let's say, first week of May.
Yeah,
okay?
I was just pulling that up. Yep.
Yeah, we were hitting 3 sigma at negative 3 sigma. When you hit negative 3 sigma, vols are shooting up. So, that's tough. Even if the stock moves your way, okay, you're going to lose on a vol collapse, right? So
that's exactly what happened.
Only the market maker and your broker. I don't want to do that.
That's exactly what happened. He hit the low. You had the high volatility, People probably
Bravo.
took a shot, and then it had like the 3-day bounce. And then between May 12th and up to yesterday, they just sucked that premium right out of those options. And
Exactly.
then, yeah.
So remember, when you beg on the premium, you want the premium to move. Not,
Yeah.
The stock alone is not enough. So until we make a logarithmic move in time and price, option premium is not going to respond. Remember, there's a log return involved in there, right? Normal density function. So unless that moves, you're sucking your thumb. I don't want to do that.
What about the overall market here, Fari? What are your thoughts here? Because we're slowly drifting up here. The VIX is, approaching all-time lows. I think yesterday hit all-time lows.
Sure.
The fear, it doesn't seem like anybody's scared out here anymore. Does that scare you at all? No.
Well, of course. I'm first of all, for the record, like FD, full disclosure, we went flat Monday night before the market opened on Tuesday. We went flat. We missed that move up, but we wanted to book the 50-some handles we had from our long retirement digest. As you know, I'm ranked by them, and that was a good call. We want to book it. Now, why did we do that? So a couple of questions. First of all, Russell had moved up too fast and was hitting 50 bar, and I said it could be a possibility of a problem. As we get like now, yesterday it was the one that closed lower, and it was a red bar. Right now, we have counter rating problems too. DJ Trans, which is a forward economy, is shooting up, all-time high. Yesterday was 4 days in a row that made all-time highs, ever, okay? Today, GDP, we missed. That was a bigger miss than anybody thought. Let's see how it trades today. Dow Jones Industrial is not at all-time high. Actually closed negative yesterday. So all things being equal, I think around some sort of pause is coming. Another issue, I posted a link yesterday from my good friend, which maybe you guys want to give a shot at him, Jason Gupford. He won the Charles Dow Award from MTA in 2004. His stuff, he writes the sentiment column every night. It's like 10 pages. It's a must-read for any big hedge guy out there that I know. He's got blue-chip clients. It's not a cheap report either, and he's going through a lot of stuff. He had in his second item, on the first page, he had a little paragraph. I'm discreet. Every once in a while, I take a copy with his permission. I'm posted on Twitter. He said the following: 77% of investor intelligence survey showed that people were bullish out there. Okay, when usually that happens here. Among users monitored by investor intelligence, 70% of those expressing an opinion are looking for higher prices. In the past 20 years, this has been matched or exceeded 5 other distinct times: June 2003, February 04, Jan 2010, April 2011, and a handful of weeks beginning last November. Over the next month, in particular, the stocks struggled. Okay, so all things being equal, I think you're going to see the smart money, which is the big players, crawling back a little bit.
Yeah, I've been
until we get some sort of reason to go up, some sort of re-energize for some reason, some catalyst. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just playing the same way. I've been kind of lightening up my portfolio there. Like I have a trading portfolio, which is a little shorter term, and I have an investment portfolio. And I've been lightening up for the last 2 or 3 months here just because it feels like everybody's just not scared enough. I feel like there's something going to happen here eventually, and everybody's going to get hurt here because even though I look at like the after hours trading action on stocks, if you look at the markets on some of the S&P companies, there is people making a market on after hours on some of these like top S&P components, like a nickel market. So they're basically on the bid and the offer. I mean, if news or anything breaks, those people are just dead. So just the fear is so low right now that you actually have market makers after hours sitting there trying to pick up nickels in the after hours.
If I'm the steamroller.
It's what it is, and they're going to get rolled here one day, and I'm going to be ready to roll them. I mean, if there's news or something, because I like to trade the after hours and the pre-market sessions. So I just think the fear is so low everywhere.
I got stuck in a trade last 20 minutes yesterday on ES, okay? And I said, okay, you know what? They're going to make an investor out of me. I hate that because you don't know how long I'm going to be up. You don't know when your exit is going to be. You don't know how bad it's going to get because I was long. And I said, this could really suck me in, ruin tomorrow. And now, I've had a decent week. I don't want to mess it up going into Friday. Thursday may be gone because you stayed up. I have an interview with you guys. So I said, let's see how this thing does. So I sold half. I said, I sell half, and I will put back on the other half after the market reopens for margin reasons. Why? I said that I'm tight. No. But I want to be very careful with my margin. Sometimes I add 4 times to something. Okay? So I want to be able to time what I'm doing rather than putting my hands in concrete. Right? So I sold half, and I said, you know what? I'll deal with the other half. Let's see how things go. Last minute of trading. Okay? Yesterday, it popped. I sold. I didn't even ask questions. I sold. I said, I don't want to bias because odds are if something goes wrong, let's say in Ukraine or something, okay? If something goes wrong there, boom, this market will melt down and I won't even get a chance to put my parachute on. Why do I want to do that? Remember, after market on futures, there's no volume. One hedge fund could kill the market. I don't want to be stuck there. What I'm going to do, I have no defense. Okay, so I said, no. Let's just, you know what? It rallied. Let's sell, get out. Not worry about it. I was like 3 ticks from my entry. Forget the 3 ticks. I give it away. Let's go. This way I'm coming in with no bias in the morning. Okay, and I get my sleep. I do my research. I don't worry about it because once you can't even research, you got a position on every tick by tick, back and forth. Crazy at nighttime. I said no. I just want to value my rest. And coming with no bias. As you said, we're up here. It's easy to knock it. We have a lot of exogenous news out there these days. Anything could be possible. We could have problems with Iran. We could have problems in Middle East. We could have problems, especially with Ukraine. This morning they shut down a helicopter with an army general on board and 14 people dead. What does it say? These partisans, the separatists, they're having anti-missile, anti-aircraft missiles. Who's giving them those? You don't go around with that stuff. That's coming from Russia. On Saturday, there were shots fired against Russian helicopters who were trying to come in before the election from Crimea. So if you read the tea leaves, if you will, we've got a lot of gasoline on the ground and people walking around with matches.
Yeah, there's certainly
it's just dangerous to just be out there where there's no volume. You'll be dead, before you know it.
Yeah, but it's been for quite some time. We've had the Russia thing over our head, and then also the position of the Fed. Really until you have those events that are happening, but until the Fed really bumps up the rate of tapering and interest rates, you just gotta expect this slow roll north.
I agree with you, but at some point you got to. First of all, you have to trust your indicators. You have to trust your indicators. Okay. At some point, when you go to 3 sigma, okay, that's the rubber band getting stretched. If you look at your McClellan oscillator, you're going over 150, like a Nasdaq. Nasdaq leads typically in a healthy market. When that one goes over to 170, you gotta say, you know what? Let me count my blessings. Let me book what I got. Let me lighten up a little bit. Those things those who are dead are dead. You can't do anything about it. But let's say in options. But the one that have profit, let me book them, okay? And now let me kind of reset your mind. It's a reboot button, so that now you could look at things more clearly. I know on Monday, on Tuesday, everybody went out there on Twitter and said, "What pullback? Are you nuts?" I didn't say anything. Look what happened yesterday. They all went away. I didn't hear from any of them. All those guys who were going crazy on Tuesday, they're gone. I didn't hear from them yesterday. All of a sudden, reality hits. Hey, you know what? Maybe we have pushed up so far, and too much too fast. A pause is necessary or healthy. I think we'll see a pause. Not a big move. I'm not counting or calling for a big drop. I'm not short here, okay? But I'm going to pick my positions to get long, okay? Very, very short term, and trade the bursts. Maybe first hour or last hour of the day. And if I want to do stocks, I want to have a story stock, like a growth stock. There's something behind it. You know, as the market goes this far up, you've got to get into stock picking. You can't just do,
all right,
markets.
All right, Fari Hamzei Analytics in here sharing his thoughts. Fari, we got to take a quick break here and bring in our next guest. Thank you for your input as usual.
Thanks, Fari.
We'll talk to you next Thursday.
My pleasure, sir. See you next week.
Okay.
Talk to you. Bye.